Hey guys, what you're about to learn in this video is how I make my week work with my full life so that I have an incredible week and I end up celebrating almost every week. So for those of you guys that haven't met me, I'm Dr. Latifat. I wear many hats. But on this platform, I'm a physician and I'm the founder of Moneyfitmd, which is a platform, including our money school, that is 100% committed to helping women physicians learn money, have more freedom of time, and live the rich life they want. That way, they can create the impact that they're here to create without worrying. So I'm super duper excited about this episode. It's been a long time coming, and I will be honest with you, I do not know what I would do without the system. Big shout out to Brooke Castillo, which is where I learned this from originally. I've since modified it to work for my life, which is what I hope you will do as well, to make it work for your life so that you no longer say, I am so busy and that's why this could not happen. So as women physicians, I know we got like 5 billion things going on. You got everybody calling for your attention. Everybody wants something from you. It's like, mama, food here, right? All those different directions. People are like calling at you from every direction. However, the thing is this, that it's been multiple years now since you finished training, you've been an attending, and there are things you wish you could do, but you're like, I don't have time to do it, Latifah. I want to build a business. I want to take a sabbatical. I want to spend more time with my family. I barely have time to eat lunch, like patience, charting, and all these other things, right? And I have to say that I hear you. The objective thing is that we have many things on our plate. Many of it we did not even, we did consent to, but we're not even putting there consciously. So I get it, because what ends up happening is the things that are the most important thing, like your finances, the things that only you can do, curating your own rich life, doing the work of like putting your money to work so that you can have more time freedom, those things are taking a backseat. And if you're like, well, some of my clients, inside of the money school, we have people that are married, we have single, never mingling, single, looking to mingle, single, mingled before, like all kinds of relationship status. And so especially if you're like a single mama, I want to just give you a shout out because it's so easy, right? You're like, I have so much to do. I am mama, I am dada, I got like Latifah, I'm just trying to like poop without an audience, and that would be a win. I hear you. So this episode is going to help you so much because now things have changed, but when I started Moneyfitmd about 4 years ago, officially now, I remember I was pretty much working full-time, always been 0.8 FTE, which in my opinion should be full-time for physicians. And so I was doing that clinically. I had we have 3 kids. So 3 kids at that point, they were 7 and under. We don't have family close by, no grandparents. So it wasn't like we were able to put our kids with someone for a weekend so we could like pump all this out. But one thing that we knew was that I knew that I had this nudge and I had a calling to help women and serve women physicians this way. This was in the pandemic, like right before, at the beginning of the pandemic. So everybody in the mama was stressed about finances and I wasn't. So I knew there was something that I'd done, things that I had created, systems that I'd done in my own personal finance, but also helped other women physicians with, that literally was the key to my own success and freedom. And so I felt like I had no choice but to teach women physicians. But then you're like, okay, when I was a fellow, I had 2 kids and I was like, life is busy. I ain't got time to poop. And how the heck am I supposed to take, being a physician, being a real estate investor that my husband and I do together, and now add something else? In fact, it was so whack. it was so whack, like logically speaking, that even my siblings were like, you don't even have time for many things. And why are you adding things on your schedule? And I was like, I just know that I'm meant to do this. And I know that I'm going to figure it out. And so I did not have a system at first. I learned the system later after being overwhelmed. And what I mean by being overwhelmed, because I think this is worth saying, is that I am someone that I've set up my life in a way to prevent burnout and decrease overwhelm. In fact, the reason, part of why I learned about finances for myself was so that I would not be overwhelmed, so that I would not be burnt out, right? And so for the longest time, I would avoid overwhelm. And what that meant for me was that it was literally causing me to regress and go back into hiding and not go into the bigger, more capacity things that I knew I was meant to do on this earth, right? And so I had to learn that overwhelm was not the enemy, but instead overwhelm may be the doorframe through which I have to pass in order for me to be able to create the things that I want to create on the other side. And so I had to figure out a system that would work because, I want to be able to spend time with my kids. I want to be able to spend time with my husband. I want to be able to spend time with myself on my hammock. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do, but I also don't want to do it and look like crap because I did not get any sleep. Right. And I remember the early days of MoneyFitmd where in order to do a podcast, I would literally do it after bedtime. So, come back from work, hang out with the family, have dinner, kids go to bed. And then I'm like, okay, I need to record my podcast. And that's what I needed to do in those seasons because I did not want to be spending weekends recording the podcast. Right. And so I had to make sacrifices one way or the other. But then as I've started MoneyFitmd, and, that was actually it was not a podcast at first. It was videos on Facebook. I was doing the videos and then it became a podcast. And then I started speaking. I started coaching. At first, it was one-on-one very briefly. And then I realized that people had similar problems and there were common themes to the things that people were complaining about when it came to their finances. But also I realized that women that were doing private coaching could still hide and they were not practicing the art of talking about money in front of people, which is a key that women need to be able to do in order to be able to negotiate and have conversations around finances in their place of work. So at some point I realized that, okay, doing one-on-one only was actually going to be counterproductive. It was not going to be helping my women to the level that it could be, would be taken away from them. So I started a group. And literally that was I think it was in 2020, really, really quickly after I started 8 weeks group coaching program where women worked with me for 8 weeks. And I would say that almost every time we're done with 8 weeks, people would say things like, Latifah, this is the money lounge that we want. This is the physician lounge that we need. There's no space like this, no judgment, no shaming. You understand money in a way that makes sense and the way that people don't explain it. And we want this to literally last forever. And so that's how the money school became a thing where now we've gone through different iterations of finding out what the perfect schedule, what the perfect timeline is. And literally, I can say without a doubt that 12 months is the optimal time for women to be able to learn how to manage their finances, but also identify and change some of the neural pathways that we've been taught, like how to think about money, that the money story that we've inherited for generations and decades takes more than 8 weeks to do that. And so I'm glad that we honestly started doing the 12 months money school that we have now because the results that women are creating is crazy ridiculous. People are not just coming into a place and getting more comfortable with money, but they're investing. They're changing generational trees. They are paying off debt. They're doing things. They're living life. They're taking sabbaticals. They are, so much amazingness that is happening. So I know that many times people are like, Latifah, can we have it shorter? And I'm like, I've tried it shorter and people literally are okay after 8 weeks, but I want you to be more than okay. Why settle for good when it can be great? And 12 months is literally what it takes. And some people choose to renew after 12 months where they're like, Latifah, I'm growing so much. I'm investing now. I have new goals. I'm doing braver things. And I want you to coach me on being able to live my own common life, my own life of wealth. And so we let people extend. But when you think about the different reiterations that Money School and MoneyFitmd has gone through, the speaking we're doing, not just locally, but internationally, right? The book, Down with Broke, that we did, the being able to think about a sabbatical, plan a sabbatical. I launched SoxyDoc, which is our personalized socks, comfortable, badass, empowering socks for healthcare professionals. SoxyDoc, you can check it out by going to soxydoc.com. I launched that last year in 2023, and the only reason why I've been able to do that, and my husband is also not a stay-home dad, he's an independent contractor, has his own IT consulting company, and so when you put all of that stuff together, our lives have a potential to be really, really full and packed. And I will tell you that the same thing is true for when people were like, Latifah, like not even family, but like well-meaning friends. But like, Latifah, like you're doing things outside of work. You're coaching, you're teaching, you're speaking, you're publishing books or a book so far. We're working on our second one right now, which I'm super excited about. Okay, yes. You can take that as my unintentional leak to the world that our second book is being worked on. I cannot wait, guys. Anyways, that just slipped out. But y'all heard it here first, so I'm excited. I cannot wait. If you haven't read our first one yet, it's back there in the corner, Done with Broke. And people are like, why? What do you mean by back there? Well, if you're not on YouTube, subscribed and following us yet, definitely go find us and subscribe on YouTube. But Done with Broke is available on Amazon. Go ahead and find it there. Get yourself a copy. It serves as a great gift for residents and graduating fellows and attendings. So if you have anybody in your life, any woman physician, I would 100% recommend that you go on Amazon right now, order our book, Done with Broke, The Woman Physician's Guide to More Money and Less Hustle, and go ahead and, gift it to them. This is literally like a gift that keeps on giving. But the point I'm trying to tell you is I got a lot on my plate. And even with that, I still commit to lunch with my husband. We have lunch every Friday. I take a half day off of sabbatical for myself. Don't talk to humans. I signed up for swimming classes now. Some of you guys are like, Latifah, I am overwhelmed just listening to your life. But there is a system to this madness. That's what I'm telling y'all. There is a system to this madness. And if you can learn this productivity system, it is so simple yet profound, and you incorporate it into your own life, it would create so much room in your life. And I know that some of you are like, but Latifah, you have a team. I get it. Yes, I have a team now, but I did not have a team before. And even when you have a team, you're still working. I work hard with MoneyFitmd. I work hard in my life, right? I'm not called to be lazy. I'm working diligently at the things that I've been entrusted to, whether that is clinically or not clinical. So this is not a matter of like being lazy or anything else like that. But I'm telling you that even when I first started MoneyFitmd as a physician, mom, working hard, likes cooking, decreasing, trying to minimize processed foods and all this other stuff, and living a value-based spending life without like spending all of my money eating out every day because I don't have a choice, quote unquote. Like, I'm telling you that the system is going to work. And one of the reasons that prompted me to do this as well is I've been coaching many women physicians that have been talking about their time being the limiting factor in their days. And part of it is because what worked for you when you had only one thing you were focusing on, whether that's like clinical medicine or non-clinical practice as a physician, that was the only single thing that was on your to-do list. And you were able to do that flawlessly, but now you're doing real estate. Now you're expanding your life. You're doing your business. You're traveling. You're breathing. You're having deeper relationships. That you have a life, or life is calling to you, and you also know that you're meant for more. And you're like, Latifah, how do I do this? But many of you guys are feeling that strain, and instead of like letting yourself get into the overwhelm and learning a practical tool or system that's actually going to help you get to the other side, you are literally retracting and hiding and playing smaller than you're meant to do. And I'm saying that with so much love because I know you. You're my people. My people are meant for more. We're made for more. We want to do all the things, but it's important for us to do it with not chronic, long-standing, drawn-out overwhelm, because your life matters, and the point of all this is not to be overscheduled. Okay, so I want to go through my system right now. It is a 3-step process. It is super duper straightforward, simple, and the weeks that I do the system, a huge difference, because I can inevitably tell you that on Friday, which is literally at the end of the week, that I would be celebrating and having more things done, as opposed to the weeks where I don't do it because maybe I don't have time, or we're traveling, or I did not that I don't have time, I didn't set the time, or we had other things that was more important at that moment, right? Maybe we're visiting family, we had an event, we had a party, like all that stuff. I get to make a decision, and there's a cost to it. So during those weeks, I definitely do pay the cost. The other advantage to this too is when you start to have a team, one of the things that we do that waste a lot of time is when our team is trying to figure out what to do. What should I do? How should I do it? What are the steps to take? All those things can definitely slow things down. And so the way that I think about it, and the way that I think is, when your team, if you have a team, comes on Monday morning, you want them to hit the ground running. You don't want them to waste so much mental energy trying to guess what they're supposed to do. Like if there's a system in place, they hit the ground running and they actually take actions before they get depleted or tired of energy. So there's like zero reasons why you should not be doing the system, or taking what you learned today, incorporating it into one that's going to make sense for you. Okay, you ready? So 3-step process. So mine is this. I do this on Sunday. So I'm recording this on a Sunday right now. I used to record, anyways, my solo episodes. I'm now doing many of them like Sunday evening because that works better for my life. And then I can, do other things that I want to do on Monday. Rest, chill, whatever it is I want to do. Hang out with humans, have coffee with people, whatever. And of course, also do some Moneyfitmd or clinical work. But I realized that my week does not have to work the way other people's week works. Like for me, I like knowing that I'm going into the week with a plan and that everything is pretty much planned out and there's a plan for everything. So what I normally do is on Sundays, I like to wake up early in the morning, many times by myself. Sometimes my early rising kids, 2 out of 3 of them, may decide to like wake up early with me. But usually what I do is on Sunday, I literally sit down with a pen and paper. I like pen and paper better than typing. And I empty out my brain about every single thing that I believe that I have on my brain as a to-do list. So every single thing, whether that's like personal life, whether that's business life, whether that's Moneyfitmd, whether that's real estate, whether that's shopping, whether it's, like call someone, like everything, I put it all down, empty my brain of all the things that I need to do. And, there's something that I teach my women physicians that I call, instead of the money school, the 10 arms of wealth. It's the different areas that you need to focus on in order to have a wholesome wealth and wholesome wealthy life. When you're missing one or the other, your wealth is going to feel loop-sided and you may not have as much money as you want, or you may just not be as fulfilled as you want to fulfill in a wealthy frame of mind. And so for my women physicians inside of the money school, what I do is I tell them to look at the 10 arms of wealth and make sure that their week has, things from that in there, right? So that download is the most important thing. That download, everything everybody told you to do, put it all down on paper, okay? And then number 2 is this. I bring out my calendar. I use Google Calendar. You can use whatever you want. And then I first of all look at that list and decide what should not even be there. Meaning that there's no point dragging crap around. There's no point dragging shit around, right? There's no point deciding your life based on what everybody in the mama said is important and not what you value, right? Because what ends up happening is we put so many things on our schedule that are not even meant for us. In general, we have decided that we like lots of family time. We don't like an overscheduled life with our kids. We don't want them to like 5 billion activities. So there's a number of activities that they pick because our time together is actually really, really important. Their time together, their boredom time, like those things are important. So we're not overscheduled in that way at all. Our time is spent, but it's not overscheduled. Okay. And so look at that list and remove things that should not be done. Like just cross them out. Things that should never be done. Things that are not important. Just cross them out. And then now go to your calendar and now one by one, start to put those things that are on your list on different days, right? Some of you guys are going to be even more focused and you may decide, depending on what your life is like, your business is like, or no business, you may decide themes for your day. You can literally decide that, Monday is household, Tuesday is business, Thursday is real estate. You can literally decide that level of specificity if that is going to help you. But as you're going down the list, for those of you guys, which is important to also delegate, I want you to start thinking which one of those things belongs on someone else's list and not yours, right? So when I started Moneyfitmd, I had an assistant. Now we have more people on our team. And so what are the things that I want my assistants to do? As I'm putting things on my own calendar, I'm also putting them on our own sort of our dashboard that we use for like project management. And there are different systems that you can use for project management with your company. Asana is pretty popular. I used that. I did not love it. I mean, I was using the free version, so it was not as robust probably as the paid one, but we started using Monday.com. We have the paid one and we like it, so we're sticking with it. So just decide for yourself what management system you want to use to communicate with your team. That's the one that we chose. And so as I'm going down the list, I have things that are mine on my calendar. I have things that's on my team's So like maybe I want them to get on a lot on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, like I literally put it there. So I do that until my entire list is done. There are certain things. So for example, I was talking about theming your days. So for me, I don't want to be shopping every day because it can be interruptive and disruptive. And so for example, I may say Thursday or Friday, I may just have that week as like my Amazon day. So if there's something that I want that we want as a family during the week, I can literally have a notepad and start taking down the things. Like so if I remember, oh, I want to buy this, just put it on my notes, like a grocery list or Amazon list or Costco list or whatever, and start having like a running list so that you're not ordering 5 billion things or making impulsive decisions that can actually increase the amount that you're spending on buying stuff. Okay, so by the time you're done, so you're crossing out one by one. So you get to the list and you make sure that the list is done. So literally everything is done if you actually do them, right? So now it's done. You know that if you actually obey your schedule, if you do the things that you meant to do on the schedule, you know that on Friday, you're going to be having a ball because guess what? You did so much and people are going to go, Dr. Blah, I cannot even imagine like how are you able to do the things that you're doing? This is literally the secret. I'm just telling you so that you can also like be a badass like that. And don't forget to put things like rest on your schedule, like date night, if that's important to you. And, and date night, whether you're single or, a couple, like that is an important stuff. So you can have date night with yourself because if you have that on your calendar, then you know that, okay, I need to call a babysitter. So now you can just like, if your date night is on Thursday, then you know that I better text the babysitter today. Or if you have a good system, then maybe Monday you text them, like just put them all on the schedule and then you do it. Keep in mind, when I was working as a pretty much full-time physician, the times that I had were in the morning or in the evening, right? Or on weekends. And I decided my kids can be watching a show on Saturday for 2 hours. And that may be the time that I'm spending because I don't really like watching TV anyway. So figure out what works for you. And then now, so that's step number 2. And then now step number 3 is on Friday. So Friday is the end of the week for most people. Now you can look at the things you got done. You got it done. Your team got it done. And if there's anything that you decided was low priority during the week or something else that was more important, that was definitely more important, not like, oh, cute to do, but like super duper more important to do. Now that thing, that may have knocked out something that was on your to-do list. So in that case, Friday, just celebrate yourself. These are the things I did. I'm badass. I'm amazing. I'm a boss. And then whatever is left on there on your Friday that wasn't done, then you just add it to the list for Sunday and then you do it over and over again. And that is how you have the best week yet. Okay. The thing to keep in mind is there are times when you may have things come up during the week that, you know how people like to be throwing things on your list, like it's an emergency, even though it's not an emergency. If anything like that comes up during the week and you're like, okay, this is not objectively high priority, then it's okay for you to decide that I'm not going to deal with this right now. I'm going to deal with this on Sunday. So that goes on your Sunday list as things for the following week because their lack of planning does not constitute your emergency unless you want to make it your emergency. Anyway, so this is a system that has worked for me for many years. I've tried other systems. This has just been the best, to be honest with you. And as your life gets more complicated, again, you may decide, like right now with Moneyfitmd, because we have like different arms of things. So what I'm trying to do, and this is still in progress. I had a system, but now I'm evolving that system, is now having more of like a time block as opposed to like half days, right? And I like that idea. There isn't too much like task switching. It's like you're completing the task that is required in that amount of time. And so you will have different iterations of this, but this system is literally the reason why sometimes it feels like I have more than 24 hours and I'm less burned out, less tired than most people that actually are doing less, but also because I'm vicious at cutting off things that are not of value. If it's not of value, then I'm not meant to do it. And this has been the result of doing a lot of work on people pleasing because there's so much shit that we put on our schedule because we're people pleasing. And so if that's you, it's okay to disappoint people. It's okay. I mean, you are kind. So I'm not saying be selfish. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it's okay for you to not do everybody else's 80% of the time and only leave 20% for the work that you actually are meant to do in your life. So I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know. I want you to just like take some time right now and ask yourself, do I have a system, like a done system? I don't like productivity sometimes. Productivity stresses me out. I don't like being productive. I just like doing things that needs to be done, because productive makes me think, oh, run faster. No, I just want things done. So do you have a done system that you use? If you don't, this is one that I love. It's worked so well. Big shout out to Brooke Castillo again. She's where I originally heard something like this, and I've now just made it work for myself. Hers is called Monday Hour One. Um, but mine is more like Sunday. Let's get it done, baby. Time. All right. I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget, leave me a review. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. And if you're listening on any podcast channels, leave us a review and let me know what your thoughts are. It really, really does help. It doesn't only help me to know that it's helping you, but it also helps the algorithm so that more people can find us, which means more people can be served by us. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for being a part of my life. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.